Alright, C6 front pumps, 1/2 inch. Servos, 1/2 inch. Usually there's a tag on one of these bolts. There's a letter code out here on your servo cover that tells you, if you have the rubber one, tells you which one that you're going to need to order. So this is a D. Let's see, we got screw-in modulator. And I don't remember what size the nut is. Inch and a half. And 9/16. Remember, right, that's 3/4. You're gonna have to have a shallow wall. Chrome. Nope, way too small. What is this? 7/8. Alright, 7/8. There's our speedometer gear. And I'll get that back out later. And here's our speedometer gear. And then there's a shim. 9/16 on here again. This bracket here holds the vacuum tube that comes down for the modulator. Bastard. Let's see if we can get this out of there. Here we go. Got another shim on the inside. There's our governor. 3/8. Valves are free. 1/2 inch on the governor support. You got these tubes that are in here that you have to get come out with the screw. There we go. Long one goes up top, the short one at the bottom. Check your support real good for ring groove. Park gear, thrust washer, park actuator, pivot pin. .7/16 on the Sprag race. .13/16 on the band nut. ½ inch on the kick down. There's a lock washer that goes on there. That didn't sound good. 3/4 on the modulator. If you got a narrow enough one to go in there, it's got to be pretty thin. Modulator pin. Or valve. ½ inch on the pan. Somebody took the tag that goes on the servo and put it over here on the fan. This is our info on our transmission. And that's the wrong head to put on a Ford. You have to look at this pan real close and make sure that they didn't cut the pan. C6 makes the pan bolts for the earlier Fords. They got these narrow heads. You're not going to find them anywhere else, probably. Tag for our valve body that tells us what it's supposed to fit. 3/8 on the valve body. Our band struts on our valve body. We want to take this plate off right here. 5/16 on these. We want to check these springs right here. Because we may need to order them. Come on out of there. Let's see if we can get these out without taking that plate all the way. Nope, not gonna happen. Alright. These are in good shape. These break quite often, so you want to check them. That way, if you need to order them, I believe C6 sells them also. And I'm going to get back in there. Gonna be like that. There we go. Ah, had it. Put the rest of those back in later. Alright, now we can get in here. Get your big pry bar and get on the back of the sun shell right there. Are we gonna be like that, huh? Yeah, let's get on the drum. Maybe it will be more cooperative this time. Boy, it's just wanting to be a pain. Alright, let's get on the pump itself with the bigger pry bar. See if we can get in there. Not wanting to go. Now that we're moving, maybe we'll come out. There we go. Input shaft. Yep.
Know what I'm doing?
Huh? Alright, 1/2 inch on the pump. Check our surface here, make sure we're okay. Check our bushings. Make sure we're not ring cutting inside there. Bevel on the gear faces down. The outer gear, it does have a triangle on it. It normally is up. This one was down. On this gear it really doesn't matter that much. Direct drum, forward drum, 4-tab washer between the 2 drums. It's a 3-tab washer. They make a metal one that you can put in here. The later bearings are going to be solid, I mean all put together, not a 3-piece. So just check this and make sure there's no galling going on right there and pitting on both sides. We're good to go. We need some forward steels for this one. Just broke my Sprag. Guess it's a good thing I bought a brand new one the other day. Now I'm going to have to buy another one. Alright. Quit being this way. Difficult. It's being awfully stiff. There we go. Bevel plate. Make sure there's no cracks. Where the ring rides, you want to make sure it's not cutting a groove into there. And where the pressure plate rides, you want to make sure it's not cutting too deep a groove. You know, you can see where it was, but it's not cutting a groove, because it'll make that plate crack. A little wire ring. Piston. Looks like we're going to be doing a kit with steels on this one. All my steels are pretty screwed. Band's burnt real bad. Wonder if they've been running this thing low on fluid a lot. I've seen all different configurations with these springs. This one here, they got 4 on each one. Normally you see 1 on each end, and one side will have 2. And let's see, it's been a while. One side will have 2 usually, and then the other side will have 1 on each one, and I've seen them all over the place. Make sure our bushings aren't horrible on this thing. It's like somebody's replaced them at one point. And depending on the planets you have is the type of washers you'll have. And then there's a bearing in the back here. Make sure it feels nice and good. No pitting on our gears. Now these bushings definitely haven't been in there for 50 years. And a snap ring on our ring gear back here. I mean on our clutch hub. We got a 4-tab washer. Normally this doesn't come out. Since we got the bolt-on yoke, we don't have a snap ring holding this all together, so it comes out, but normally that all would stay up in there. You have to take this out to get to this snap ring that holds it on. Make sure our pinions are not, got a lot of slop up and down, and no side to side. This means it's not wobbling. And 3-tab washer. Our Sprag assembly. And pay attention to your race here. It likes to eat a groove into them. You're going to have to know which style that you have, because the updated one is going to go from a washer to a bearing style. And then your Sprag back here, when you order a Sprag, they're going, unless you specifically order the early style, you're going to get a plastic Sprag that goes back here. instead of having this washer. This is all going to fall apart when I take this out. You got spring and rollers in here. Instead of having this snap ring down here, you take all that out and you're going to get a plastic one, and I'll show you how it goes in. Let me find the end of it here. Go ahead and take this snap ring out. And I'll do it on this side. You got a snap ring here. Go ahead and take that out. And that's why I was hearing stuff falling around. When I took that race off back there, there's a snap ring that goes, and it's going to clip in. Once you got this bolted into the case, it's going to clip in right here. The later styles didn't have this set up with the snap ring. This race was big enough that it would hold this plate down, so you didn't have to worry about that. And your snap ring. Normally the snap ring's over at the 3 o'clock position. It doesn't really think it matters on this one. I believe that's where the book says it goes. I've seen them all over the place. Our low reverse steels are okay, but we're still going to order an LS kit, a master kit with steels, because it's going to be cheaper. By the time I buy all the other steels, I can get a master kit. We've got all our return springs for our piston in the back. I don't want to set those off to the side. I think I got to worry about it on this one. The springs for the direct drum are totally different height, so we don't have to worry about it. There we go. Alright, we'll shoot air in that hole right there. This hole right here. I'm on it. Go ahead and pull this out. I have to leave my linkage in there. I'll do that later. Get some big old chunks. I wonder if the starter must have gone out at one point. I'm going to go take a look at that starter Bendix and make sure everything's okay and that flywheel's okay. There's some big chunks of metal up there. Alright, on your torque converters, you got big pilot, small pilot. You got the drain plug next to the stud, and you got the drain plug in the middle of the two studs. This one here is a fat pilot, smooth bodied, and drain plugs next to the stud, so that's what I'm going to write down, so you should be able to get the right torque converter on the right Okay, so we're doing the master kit with steels, pump bushing, screw-in modulator, band, the low Sprag. If you got a bolt-on yoke, you're going to want to order the rear seal because it's not going to come in the kit. So the bolt-on yoke rear seal. Now the filter, they are cleanable on these units as long as you can clean them. Otherwise you need to replace them. The torque converter, like I said, is a fat pilot, smooth bodied drain plug by the stud. So that should get them in. Yes, the starter and flywheel were chewed to pieces, so they're going to get that also. Something else that I forgot to mention, in the back of the case, back here. Get a good shot of this. Not showing up. Right back in here, there's 2 bushings where the output shaft goes. I'm not ordering those because I got plenty of them, but I suggest that you replace those and replace the tail housing bushing if you have the one that has a bushing in it. This one doesn't, but I would definitely replace those, even if you don't do all the other bushings. But I get the one-piece bushings for the E4ODs, and those bushings come in the bushing kit, so I got plenty of those laying around. I don't need to order them.